There we go.
Verna comes up at the end. All right, Paul, I'm excited to have you here today to talk about the Father's House Retreat. I think retreats are great to take time to pray with the Lord. And we got an in-house retreat coming up, the Father's House Retreat on Saturday, September 9th coming up, almost less than a month away. So tell us a little bit about having an in-house retreat. I mean, normally you go somewhere for a retreat, but why have an in-house retreat?
Great question. Great question. Nothing against out of town retreats and retreats that you can go to other places. Those are awesome. But there's something special and unique about having a retreat in-house. Well, one of them is the convenience, right?
Yeah, that's very convenient.
Very convenient. It's already a challenge in and of itself to take a weekend or take a day to do a retreat. But you remove that obstacle, number one, of travel and being able to have it in-house, in person. So, and anytime that you can create space for God in your life, is a huge plus. And so to do something where you remove that travel and then also still have that, the travel from your house to the church, and then still take time for God, that's what we're trying to create. We're trying to create an opportunity for people to spend time with God and create that space in their life to focus on their relationship with the Father, and to do it also too. What also makes retreats powerful is the group that you experience it with.
Yeah.
And we're, every week or more often, or maybe every few weeks that you see people in a big parish like this, we're creating an experience, fostering an environment in which we can share this spiritual experience together that can then pay huge dividends in terms of living out our spiritual life, living out our relationships with God in community and not just kind of on our own. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's great. Convenience, you can stay at home and just drive to the church. And I think, that shared experience, building up our own parish and sort of encountering the Lord together. Now it's going to be on a Saturday, September 9th. What are some of the key things we do on this retreat? Is this going to be like a lot of talks? Is it going to be a lot of holy hours? Is it going to be, if you go on a retreat for a whole day, what do you do the whole day?
Pray the whole time. That's it. Quick 5-minute talks and hours of prayer. No, it's a combination of talks. There's 5 talks throughout the retreat. But it's a sequence of talk, time for prayer, and small group conversation. And oftentimes, to really unpack a talk or a retreat experience, it's important to receive some instruction.
Yeah.
Receive some time of just praying with the Lord, and then talk with fellow peers and friends about what they're experiencing and what they're praying about or what stood out to them. And so it's a sequence of talk, prayer, and small group time.
That's a great format. I like that. So those are all great things to be able to have time in a small group at tables, to have time with the Lord and adoration, confession, prayer, to hear some from inspiring speakers.
Yep.
Well, I mean, but in your case, I mean, you and Mandy have all your little kids running around. What are you going to do with your kids on this weekend, or what do couples do in this case? If how are we going to help people go on retreat?
Well, if we ever do retreats, Father, couples can't come. That's why it's just, you got to wait till the kids get older, then you can do all this. No, I mean, that's when we talked about doing this in the first place. We wanted to remove as many obstacles so as many people from all walks of life could come. And parents with kids were, one of the first audiences that we thought about. And we're going to be offering childcare. And so we're going to have
fantastic
babysitters that are coming from the NDSU Newman Center, and so they help out with different events, and we'll want to run them through all the checks and make sure everything's good to go. But we're going to have as many babysitters as we need to be able to offer childcare for all of the parents that are out there who want to go.
I think it'd be great if we had over 100 people on this retreat.
Yes,
we have a beautiful church building, we have a large social hall. I mean, we have the youth center downstairs in which we can have lots of kids, having their own program with these babysitters throughout the day. So I think we could really have a lot of people on this retreat.
Yeah, classrooms upstairs too if we need it.
Yeah, we have lots of great space here. And I like also that it's in the fall. I think what a great way. I think what people experience over the summer is kind of chaotic. You know,
Yep.
there's family gatherings, there's travels, there's vacations, there's camps, and I think there's a longing as we get towards the school year for kind of that order of life to kind of come back a little bit. And I think starting off the fall with a retreat is a great way to kind of get grounded in the Lord, to get grounded in prayer again. And I think it's a great time of year for a retreat.
I do too. Though, like anything else, any retreat, it's never really at a great time, right?
Sure.
You know, there's
there's
so much how it sets up for being great, and I think that's also something to pay attention to. Is you may know that you might know that you're supposed to go on this retreat if you're feeling like, I don't know, it's not the best timing. If it was later in the fall or maybe in the
Sure.
spring, right? There's always going to be a reason for why it's not great timing, but you know, that can be an invitation from the Lord that this is what you need to do at this time.
Yeah, there's no such thing as perfect timing. I think a
Right.
lot of times in our discussions here around the parish, we're like, what's the perfect time for this or the perfect time for this? There's never going to be a perfect time. If something is worth it, you make the time, you make the time.
Right.
And
And part of
it's
why we
worth
picked
it.
this time too, and I think it worked out great, is because we've got these 3 great speakers lined
Yeah.
up. And to
Tell
get
us a
all
little about
3 of them in
Yeah,
one
tell us
spot.
about the speakers. I mean, part of what a retreat is like, who's leading it. So we have we have like 3 leaders of this retreat.
Yep.
3 speakers who are helping to lead. We have some great speakers. So tell us, I know one of them is Jessica Nathan. Tell
Yep.
us about Jessica.
Yeah, Jessica, Jessica's been working with Focus for the last 12, 13 years. Before
Yeah.
she was in Focus, she was actually discerning the religious life with the Poor Clares. I met Jessica when she first came to Focus a long time ago.
Yeah.
And just a spiritually dialed in young woman.
Yeah.
And she came in with such zeal and desire to help people come to encounter God,
Yeah.
and had seen the power of that happening through the retreat experience. And so she's been a huge part of helping Focus to develop this retreat model that we've done. And we've got a few retreats that we offer, the Father's House being one of them. And she's led, I don't know, hundreds of retreats. And so she just happened to be available, and we haven't done too many in the parish setting.
Sure.
But it's also, whether it's the college campus or the parish, it doesn't matter. It can be delivered to the particular audience that you're doing. So Jessica has a ton of experience. She's led these in parishes on campus, and super excited for her to be here with us.
Yeah, that's great. And we also have Monsignor Schleschemann coming.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, he's local.
Yeah, kind
Mons-
of flies under the radar a little bit.
Yeah, Monsignor Schleschemann's a great priest of our diocese. He was the rector of Cardinal Seminary for many years, and now he's been the director of our permanent diaconate program. And, our deacons are great deacons, and that's a testament to his work with the deacons. But he's also been at the Newman Center at NDSU for the last number of years as a very trusted spiritual director, retreat director. So he's got just a ton of experience and knowledge to share on retreats. So I think Monsignor Schleschemann will be great to hear from as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Then we have
he's
another
amazing.
priest coming in, a religious priest, a Dominican
Yep.
from the Order of Preachers, Father Gabriel Gillen. Tell us a little bit about Father Gabriel.
The Order of Preachers, the Dominicans. He's from the Eastern Province.
St. Joseph Province. Yeah,
Yep.
great.
He's out in New York, and he recently became one of our 7 national chaplains within Focus, and so
Sure.
he helps out with various things throughout the year on campuses and parishes and mission trips and retreats. And so he's been around. He's been on the speaking circuit. You can look him up and find different talks that he's given.
Was
throughout
he on
the years.
XM Radio, a part of the Catholic channel?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had his own show that he did. And so Dominicans are always very well known for their speaking abilities, their teaching, and they can just really, in not very many words, just penetrate with depth in what they talk about. So super excited. I don't know him super well. Heard great things, and of course, seen a little bit of his shows.
Yeah, I've
but
heard some of his talks. He gives a great
he's
talk.
amazing.
He's amazing. So we got a great lineup of speakers.
Mm-hmm. Very exciting. And who knows? Maybe we'll get some additional help from the religious sisters. I know we're trying to
Get some religious sisters here
to
as well.
come and help out as
And
well.
I know the priests here at the rectory, I know a lot of us are planning to be available for confessions as part of the retreat that Saturday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Father Robert and Father Metzger and Father Slattery are looking at being available for confessions.
Yep.
And maybe
that's
some
another
other priests as well.
too, that we're offering prayer teams as well.
Yeah, some time of prayer teams, prayer intercessory teams. Now, when it comes to the content of the retreat, like Father's house, what does that mean? I think a lot of this retreat is focused on, right, the goodness of God. And when I think about it, it's like, who's this retreat for? Like people ask us, like, is this a men's retreat, a women's retreat, a young adult retreat? The retreat's for everyone. Mm-hmm. But when I see like who's it for, it's like it's for the person who's really looking to trust God more by encountering the goodness of God. And I think that's all of us in some way, right? Like this is really just such a central core topic of the goodness of God the Father, His providence for us, His care for us. I mean, what would you say about what are you going to get out of this retreat? You've been on this retreat before. What would you say to a parishioner who's wondering, what do I get out of this retreat?
Yeah, well, we all come in at different places in our relationship with God, and that's the awesomeness, greatness of this retreat is that it meets you where you're at. And when it comes to God and a relationship with God or relationship with the Father, we all come at different places of that. I know, for myself and for others, sometimes we haven't had the greatest experience with, father figures or male figures in our life. And so you can come into this retreat and really get to know, well, who is God the Father? Maybe my experience has been X, Y, or Z in terms of, a father, and that can really color, right, our relationship with God if we've had that kind of experience. But, a retreat of the Father's house is, it comes from John, the Gospel of John, chapter 14, verse 2. In my Father's house, there are many rooms that I prepare for you. And, in those sections, in that discourse between chapters 13 and 17, as you know, it's really Jesus inviting the disciples into a deeper understanding of who He is, who the Father is, and how He comes to reveal the Father to them and invite them to say yes to inviting the Father, the Trinity, the Son, and the Holy Spirit into their life to make, their home with God, the Father. And so this is a retreat that, kind of it's as if, you were there and you're not really sure yet, you know who God is, maybe you don't have as close of a relationship with Him. And it's as if Jesus is saying, let me introduce you, to the Father and invite you into His home, our home.
That's one of the greatest gifts Jesus gives us is this initiation into relationship with His Father.
Yes.
And who's our Father. I got my Pope Benedict shelf up there on the top.
Oh, yeah.
And in Jesus of Nazareth, Pope Benedict comments on the Our Father. He says, Jesus calls God Father like hundreds of times in the Gospels, right? It's this sort of core thing of what He's inviting us into is His relationship with His Father, and how great that is.
It really is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the retreat's open to really like a large, swath of our parish, moms, dads, husbands, wives, even high schoolers.
Yep.
And it's really a broad net, and this is just really like a universal topic, the goodness of God the Father.
Exactly. Yep. Teenagers too, if they've got the maturity for it, and you knew working at the Newman Center that, there's an openness, right? They're curious about these spiritual conversations. So I think, big invitation to consider that, if they've got high school age, maybe a couple of years younger than that, just depends, what their maturity is.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Well, excellent. Well, we have registration online on our parish website, saintsanj.org, under the events tab.
Yep.
You can register anytime. Registration deadline is
August 25th.
August 25th. Mm-hmm. We got room for lots of people.
Hundreds.
And I think we already have dozens signed up. We've sort of started strong already. A lot of people are interested. Mm-hmm. And I think this is going to be a really great event for our parish. So online we have the schedule, speaker bios, Q&A. Registration is $45.
Yep.
That covers the food mainly and some of the speakers.
Yep. We got Anna Brown coming in, catering.
Yeah, Anna Brown's providing
Fargo
the food.
Fargo
famous food, yeah. She does great. She's done a few events here recently.
Yep.
And it'll be some good home-cooked meals. Mm-hmm. And a great way to start the fall, strong in our relationship with God. So join us for the Father's house. It's going to be a great retreat.